live and recording.
Namaskar and a very good afternoon. Today we are going to talk about success. Success is not what we do tomorrow or what we plan for tomorrow. Success is what we are going to do today, or rather, what we do today. Everybody has a different definition of success, and it should be that way. We don't have to follow somebody else's concept and definition of success. We have to do what feels right for us. But then, in spite of this strong statement that we have to do what is right for us, there are certain fundamentals and basics which we need to take care of. Because what is right for you should be right for the society and the well being of everybody connected to us and the world. So let us understand from Nitin Poddar. He is a very dear friend of mine. And when I read out his qualification, when I read out what he does, you'll be amazed to learn the things he's doing still at this age. And here I go with his introduction. Shri Nitinji Poddar is into merger and acquisition expertise. He is a partner at J Sagar Associates. He is also the founder of India Power Talks. He is the founder of Maxwell Foundation, which gives Maharashtra Entrepreneur Awards. And he also is the founder of Maxplore Center for Entrepreneurship. And also the chairman of Gandhi Film Foundation. And so there are so many ellipses. I will cover them one by one when I take his interview further. So first, I would like to welcome Namaskar Nitinji. Namaskar, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, Sangeeta.
Sir, Swayambhu Vishay, you were the first person I connected to when I thought of this concept. So what is your thought about Swayambhu?
First of all, I must really congratulate you and congratulate all the participants of, I believe right now you have some 10, 12 interns already working. So I am really fortunate that I am witness to the first discussion that you had with me sometime in February, post your birthday, I believe. And on yes. I distinctly remember 28th February was the date when you launched it.
Yes.
With one of your very senior and dear teacher, very senior teacher, you told me. Sangeeta, if you ask me honestly, I always have in my mind that, look, we are 130 billion people, and by 2030 we will be the most youngest country in the world. The unemployment level in India among youth is so high. I just don't see any solution, ready-made solution for the whole problem. The solution, one of the solution could be what you have starting now is internship, and I'm very much, I very much support the idea of internship. And the kind of internship that you have structured is something really very interesting for the society, and I wish every one of us, if we just intern one or two students also, the issue of unemployability, underemployability will be largely solved. So this is what you have done is really, really path breaking, pioneering. As a society, you have come forward. You are not a school, you are not a college, you are not an institution, but individually you have done this, and I really applaud all the activity that you have done. I have been watching a couple of your videos, and really great job that. Congratulations once again, and my all best wishes for that.
Thank you so much, sir. It is God's blessing, and I have got support of fantastic mentors and well-wishers like you, and that is why I'm able to put it in practice. So, sir, we are talking about success, and success means different things at different age, at different times, at different circumstances. Sir, when you were in school and college, what was your life, and what did success mean to you then?
See, I'll tell you. Good you asked me this question, because I was also wondering as to what should I really, should I begin for your students community, because primarily this program is for, I believe, students. I think as soon as the student or any boy or a girl who completes 18 years of age, he or she must start thinking of earning for his living.
Hmm.
That is what is required. I don't know why we treat earning money as something which is, oh, no, first get your education done, first do that, and then only you start earning. I think that's wrong, completely wrong concept. In Western world, as soon as you complete 10 standard, the students are out, and they are on their own. To tell you, I have never shared this, but I'll be very happy to share this with all the students or the parents that who are watching this program. As you know, in ninth standard, when I was in ninth standard, I started taking tuitions because I believed at that time that I must earn my living. I must earn enough money for my clothes, for my school, for my education, and for my extra expenses. And ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, right up to my law college, I used to take regular. I used to take tuitions.
Right.
So, the only concept in my mind was I must make my own living. Now,
Hmm.
how to my mind, tuitions are not in today's world. Tuition is not just one avenue for making money. In fact, today students are so tech savvy, and if you
Hmm.
ask me, today all the generation who are 40 plus or 45, 50 plus, they all are
Hmm.
computer illiterate, so to say.
True.
Today's students are born with mobile phones. The
Hmm.
millennials are born with mobile phones. They are very tech savvy. Why can't they teach even the small applications, the WhatsApp, how to email, how to set up blogs? There is so much to be taught to the first generation. If that transfer of knowledge happens, trust me, today the decision makers are in 50-55 like you and me. And these decision makers don't have the technical knowledge, the basic technical knowledge. Now that
Hmm.
knowledge can come from these millennials. I
Correct.
know when I see the students, when they feel frustrated as to, oh, no, so and so principal, so and so teacher, or so and so my parents, they don't understand computer, but why don't you come forward and teach them?
Hmm.
I have a live example with me in Vashi. There are some 3-4 kids who teaches
Hmm.
just to operate mobile phones to their parents or to their elders in the society, and they make money out of that.
Hmm.
So when I was ninth standard, I started making money for myself by tuitions. And not only that, during that phase, one more aspect what I want to mention is you
Hmm.
must when I'm saying you mean the students,
Right.
you must endeavor to take additional skill sets.
Hmm.
Let me share that experience. When I completed my 11th standard, I recollect in 1988, 79, 79, 80, I had
Hmm.
got my last tuition fees in April of 50 rupees. Last
Hmm.
fees that I got. I
Hmm.
s- I thought, what will I do with that 50 rupees? Because I had April, May, and June to go. And
Hmm.
I invested 20 rupees. I still recollect 20 rupees
Hmm.
in learning
Hmm.
harmonium and 30 rupees in learning typing. At that time, there was to be typewriter. There was no computer.
True.
These two skill sets, particularly the typing exercises which I did in my 11th standard, helped me tremendously because in 95, 96, when computers came, I was the fastest on computer even compared to my secretary. And,
Correct.
and till today, my letter writing, my documentation, everything is by and large correct because I don't make mistakes in grammar. I don't make mistakes because I know typing. These are
Hmm.
to my mind, as a young all young generation should adapt small technical skills, computer skills, foreign languages, coding, artificial, whatever skill sets you get. I think they must try to absorb as much as possible because that is the age which is like a sponge. You just absorb
Correct.
whatever is available in the society. So tell you this to just cut short the story. So as a student, I was always hungry for getting lot of skill sets at that. I don't know why and how, but I was always hungry to learn something extraordinary, something new, and
Hmm.
make money also.
Mm. Sir, you are saying was, but I know there is a is involved. So I will come to that point a few minutes later. But what I have understood is that success is a consequence and it is not a goal. When he mentioned that he was taking tuition classes when he was in ninth standard, every time we teach something to somebody, every time we share some knowledge, we are actually reinforcing that in our mind. We make our thoughts concrete with every time we repeat it to others and ourselves. So every time we teach, we are becoming more powerful. We are
Absolutely.
confirming our thoughts. We are reliving that strength. So I think the more you share, the better it is to you. And sir, also it is important to understand that when we take tuitions, our communication skills
Yes,
are also developing,
absolutely, absolutely correct.
because our thoughts have to be in sync with the student, and it is our primary goal to ensure that the child is able to understand what we say according to our wavelength. So I think it definitely helps, and we
Let,
have
let,
seen many successful people who
let
take
me
tuition classes. Yes sir, yes sir.
let me just add a small thing over here before we slip out of that point. My earnest request to all the parents is that don't think earning money is bad.
Hmm.
The problem in our society is that we think earning money is something bad. Why should we go behind money? See, it is not the question of going behind money.
Hmm.
Ultimately, if you see what is the process we are adopting. The process is we to go to school, study, get better marks, get into better engineering, medical or whatever, or legal or whatever, and then what do? We make money.
Hmm.
So the entire process of education leads to what? Leads to making money at the end of the day. Now, therefore, my point is, we in the entire education system, in the entire process, we teach them physics, civics, science, arithmetic, mathematics, language, everything, but we just don't teach them to make money.
Hmm.
We don't teach the students the value of money.
Value of money.
Instead of that, what do we teach them? We teach them, oh no, you should not go behind money. Going behind money is something which is ill, which is wrong, which is not correct. So my request is, you don't teach your students, to teach your children that start making your living.
Hmm.
Don't say that I want you to make money. No, you are not making money. See, making money illegally is wrong, but
Correct.
making money legally is absolutely right. When we talk of
Hmm.
money, we somehow in our minds, in our Indian
Right.
community, in the Indian mindset, it is fitted into it in such a way that we think making money means doing something illegal to make money, and that's completely wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
To my mind, every parent must insist that as soon as the student completes this 10th standard, why 10th standard? Wait for 10th standard, 8, 9, 9, 10. As soon as the child seems to be independent, the minute he knows how to spend money, you must teach him how to earn money also.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think that was 100 baat ki ek baat. The moment he starts spending money, that is the right time when he starts earning money.
Yes,
So,
let him know the
to
value of money.
right. So, to understand the value of money, I would just also put, an adage saying that be abundant so that you can share the abundance. Simple. Sir, were you a very good student academically in school? Were you a rank holder?
Well, I
Or
was
were you a backbencher?
no, I was a average student. I
Hmm.
was, but I was not a backbencher. I must tell you this.
Hmm.
And I used to never like to sit on the first bench either.
Hmm. Hmm.
I used to love to sit next to my friends.
Hmm.
And wherever they used to sit, I used to make a point to go next to them and sit with them.
Hmm.
So, but again, I am telling you, I'm not a rank holder, but I used to
Hmm.
aspire to be a rank holder.
Hmm. Hmm.
I used to always aspire that I wish I had good ranks, and I recollect one of my close my classmate from my school. He's a very big
Hmm.
doctor now. He's a very big
Hmm.
senior doctor, and I
Hmm.
recollect when I was in my law in my first, second, third year LLB, he came to me
Hmm.
suddenly saying that because we were good friends, so somehow he found out me, and he was denied the PhD admission, and
Hmm.
I recollect I had written a writ petition in my hands, and
Hmm.
I went to court. I fought his matter and got his admission for PhD.
So, when you thought of selecting a career, did you always set your mind on becoming a lawyer since you were in school and college?
Yes, somehow, when I was a kid, we used to have one of my father's friend used to come home, and he was a astrologer, and
Hmm.
he had predicted that he had predicted, and he had told us that I should become a lawyer. So somehow,
Hmm.
there was no process of further thinking. He said,
Hmm.
you must be, you are bound to become a lawyer. You are a good orator. You can
Hmm.
solve issues and that. So you should just become a lawyer. So somehow, I for me it was no brainer. But I must tell you here,
Hmm.
just a small deviation. Again, why I'm saying this is very critical is because when I completed my 11, when I completed my 10th standard, my elder brother told me you should go in science because I was doing good tuitions,
Hmm.
which was Sangeeta wrong decision, because if I had to become a lawyer, I should have become a
Hmm.
commerce graduate.
True.
He put me in science, and it was very difficult for me. I
Hmm.
completed
Hmm.
somehow 11th and 12th science I completed. Then I also took
Hmm.
admission in BSc. I was
Hmm.
finding it extremely difficult. And
Hmm.
one fine morning, I told myself this decision I took on my own.
Hmm.
Now when I look back, I felt, oh, how could I take that great decision at that time? I
Hmm.
left. I just dropped BSc,
Hmm.
and I took admissions in arts college in Ruya. I said, look,
Hmm.
if I have to become a lawyer, then I must become a graduate, because at that time you had to become a graduate to become a lawyer. So I said,
Right.
what is the easiest method of becoming graduate? So I should take a arts graduate. Therefore, I took
Hmm.
admission in Korea, and I completed my BA in economics and politics. So at
Hmm.
that time also, I could change my career, because I wanted to become a lawyer. And this was again, now that I can say that it was a good decision, but it was told to me when I was a kid. But today, if you ask me, I
Hmm.
think students must really, really think about their strengths, about their weaknesses, experiment little bit more, do lot of homework, do lot of research before they really decide to choose any career in their life. Today you have that ability. Today you have that
Right.
flexibility. You have Google in front of you. You can choose a lot of career. And again, even if you have to spend experiment some few years, doesn't matter. Take a
Hmm.
conscious decision about your career.
Hmm. Well
I'm
said,
not a
sir.
so I'm not an accidental lawyer. Consciously I chose to become lawyer.
Uh, Correct, correct. But I would like to understand from you, since you mentioned that first you had taken admission in the science stream and then you switched over to arts,
Right.
right? So when that switch happened, there are people who have think it is very drastic to even change a school. So
Yes.
you had changed a total stream. So what was your thought process and what are the different things you did so that you can catch up with the other students who have done arts in 11th and 12th?
See, fortunately, I must say my parents did not interfere too much in my education.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, they listened to me.
Hmm.
Even I think when I entered, when I joined school in my junior KG, at that
Hmm.
time, my mother used to take me to my elder brother's school. It was an English medium school.
Hmm.
And somehow I liked that atmosphere. And I told my mother that no, somehow I want to go to my elder brother's school only.
Hmm.
So I insisted. No, and my parents listened to me at that time. Now, when it
Hmm.
came to changing the streams, also my parents said, Look, if you have taken, if you want to do law, and if you have decided to do change streams from science to arts, we have no difficulty." So they never interfered. They never
Hmm.
objected to what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Fortunately, they supported me.
Correct, correct. So that was a good support. So because of that support, you could actually your transition was comparatively smoother.
Parent support is very critical to my mind.
Mm,
And particularly when the student, or in the age group between, I would say, 15 16 onwards till
mm,
maybe 20 25, that is the
mm,
age, teenage, when you say that age, I think, the parents really play a major role in shaping up the careers of students. And I think that is
mm.
really support of family, support of parents, guidance is very critical for students. But children also have to be very independent, very bold, to take decisions.
Correct, sir. But there are circumstances when the parents actually are clueless about what to do.
Agree.
In such circumstances, there might be incidents where a wrong,
Yes,
action was done and then you regret it. But it makes no sense in regretting and holding that against your mentor or parent forever. So, in
absolutely.
this condition, what to think and how to go about, sir?
See, I would think career making is a journey.
Hmm.
It is not a prefixed formula. There is no formula as such.
Hmm.
That if
Hmm.
you get 93%, you must take admissions in engineering. If you get admission in engineering, you must then go to US and do MBA, and you will be. See, there is no formula.
True. True.
Unfortunately, when the decisions with regard to careers are taken based on the numbers that we get, which is completely wrong.
Right. Right.
Completely wrong. I have
Right.
seen I have seen several students now in Pune ILS Law College.
Hmm.
I regularly come there for lecturing. I have
Hmm.
seen students who are eligible for medical admissions, who are eligible
Hmm.
for top post IIT, IIT and IIM, IITs. They
Hmm.
prefer on their own. They prefer to come to law school. So
Right.
to my mind, first of all, during that 8 10 years of your life, when you are about
Hmm.
to choose your career, it is
Hmm.
possible it is possible that you may think that you have taken a wrong decision. The minute you
Hmm.
think, take a pause, do a study, and take a right turn or a left turn or even U-turn if you require. There is no difficulty.
Right.
There is
Correct.
no, because life is too big. There is no point just going in a wrong direction. If you think you are on a wrong direction, there is. I think you need to introspect, hold on, take a pause, take a deep breath, talk to people, do research, and then decide about the career. During that 10 years period, it is you are bound to experiment. So you are bound to fail. You are bound to regret. So it doesn't matter. All those things are part and parcel of career making.
Right. Right, sir. Well said. So you should not hesitate to take a U-turn, because that U-turn could be a turning point in your life, taking to a direction which is waiting for you with a beautiful destiny.
Right.
Sir, you are an expert in merger and acquisition. It sounds so dignified and so scary sometimes. So for a layman, what does merger and acquisition mean, sir?
So in a simple word, to explain very simply, we conduct corporate marriages.
Okay, okay, okay.
When two companies, a foreign company and Indian company, when they want to come together, when they want to do business together, we carry on their marriage. It is conducting an M&A activity is exactly like conducting a marriage. How you first of all see the bride looks at the girl and the boy and the girl looks at each other. They do due diligence of their families. So we also do due diligence of both the companies. Then there is a process involved of marriage. So there is a process involved of corporate merger also. There is a documentation involved. We have to go to court. We have to get sanctioned. So everything, if you just compare this like a ordinary marriage and corporate marriage is same thing. Same thing applies with divorces also. The divorces of corporates are also ugly, like the personal divorce. So leaving aside the lighter side, when I'm talking of mergers and acquisitions, we advise foreign companies who wish to come to India. They acquire companies in India. We advise Indian companies to merge with each other, acquire businesses, and grow. See, essentially, all these strategies are to really grow and consolidate.
Right. So, when you selected merger and acquisition, was it an organic, escalation, or why did you think this was interesting and I should become an expert in M&A?
A very interesting question, Sangeeta. The day I became lawyer during that time, after second year LLB, you could start practicing. And because as I mentioned I had to switch from science to arts, and then I had to lose 1 year in first year B. Law also I had some difficulties, so I had lost lot of interest, and lot of time had gone in that period. So but I was so eager to become lawyer. So as soon as I passed out my second LLB, from the result desk, I went to the professor's room and I caught hold of one professor. I said, "Sir, I want to start my career right now." So he said, he's a Professor Dalmia. And he said, he's told me, "Why don't you come tomorrow? Take it easy." I said, "No, sir. Today I am eligible to become lawyer. I want to start my practice right now within 1 hour." So he said, "Arey, what is this boy?" I said, "No, sir. I want to sit in office today itself. Come what?" He said, "Okay, go to my office and sit there. I'm coming." I went to his office and sat there, and I worked as a lawyer for a whole day. And I was happy that yes, I have become lawyer now. But so that was my passion to become lawyer. Now, to come to answer your question, why did I choose M&A and law? So I always wanted to become work in the best area of practice. So at that time, I felt at that time, in 1991, Dr. Manmohan Singh had announced the foreign investment policy in India, and the foreign collaboration, everything was the talk of the town. So I said, look, corporate is something which is going to undergo sea change, and I like the style of corporates, and I really like the work that they do, and I never liked the court work, and so I always somehow humbly I must say that I always aspire for the best in life. I always aspired for the best in life. So I did my research and I found out Mr. R.A. Shah is the best corporate lawyer in Bombay at that time. I said, let me go and apply to him.
Okay.
Sangeeta, I didn't know him. Trust me, I didn't know him. But I applied to the Crawford Bailey and I got a job not with Mr. Shah, but with some other partner. I said, doesn't matter. I am in the same organization. I worked there for 1 year. And after 1 year, I got an opportunity to go and talk to Mr. Shah. And I said, sir, I've been waiting for this opportunity for more than a year to work under you.
Correct.
For that 1 year, Sangeeta, I did, trust me, I every day I was my killing that I was I used to see Mr. Shah walking, going, and I was aspiring to join him, but somehow I was not getting an opportunity. But after 1 year, there was a vacancy. I went to him, I met him, I said, sir, nothing doing. I want to work with you. And that's how then I worked with him for 10 years. So my always passion was to get the best, to do the best, what is possible in my life. And that's how I landed up in the corporate world.
Correct. So you took a stance and you were very proactive and you worked with
Yes.
somebody else till you reached your goal. So सिंपल
Absolutely.
सी बात है, क्यों डरे कि जिंदगी में क्या होगा, कुछ ना होगा तो तजुर्बा होगा, और वो तजुर्बा आ गया, इसीलिए उनको वो उनके जो मेंटर थे उन्होंने उनको ले भी लिया. So just be proactive and do it. Sir,
So,
yes, sir.
one more example I'll tell you, because we are talking about internships. This is very critical. I'm also a solicitor. Okay. And for becoming solicitor, after your LLB, you need to do 2 years of internship, articleship.
Right.
Internship with a law firm. So I found out Mr. V.A. Phadke was a good big law firm at that time. I didn't know Mr. Phadke before becoming solicitor and before joining the corporate world. One fine morning, I called up the firm, and the operator picked up the phone. Her name was Mrs. Oak. She's still there, and we are still in good talk to each other. So I said, I'm Nitin Podar and I want to do articles in your firm. Can I come? So she said, yes, come. A lot of students come. So you also come. I went to the office at 10 o'clock. And straight away I went to Mr. Phadke's room. He was a very senior person, 70. He's no more now. He was at that time, he was 75, 77, 80 maybe. And I stood in front of him. I said, sir, I want to do articles in your firm. So he said, who are you? Who sent you in my room? How, who has recommended you my name? I don't know you. How do you know me? I said, sir, I know, I have found out about you. Your firm is good firm. I want to work with you. So he said, you sit outside. You sit outside, I'll call you. Sangeeta, you will not believe, and very humbly I'm saying, very rare I mention these facts, but on your platform I mentioned because we're talking of internships. I was sitting outside his room for till 5:30 in the evening. He did not call me. He forgot. He forgot that he told me that to wait. And in the evening, 5:30, when he was about to go, I was sitting in the reception. I said, you have to call me. I met you at 10 o'clock in the morning. He said, oh my God, I completely forgot. Doesn't matter. You sign your articles tomorrow and we'll start articleship. That's how I secured articleship.
Correct. So you were so persistent, right? So
Absolutely.
Persistent. Sir, my Marathi is not so, fluent, but is this what is called as chikati?
Well, I always believed one thing, Sangeeta, that if your conviction is strong, if you are determined to do something, I think you just go all out. And I have always believed. I have always taken. My decision making. We have worked on several projects together. If I am convinced about certain thing, no one can stop me.
Yes, correct. So if you are convinced about something, don't let anybody or anything stop you. Perfect said, sir. I just loved the way you shared your experience, and it is very important that we learn from all these living experiences. Sir, you are a lawyer, and in spite of that, you have started India's Power Talk. Then you have started building school leaders or business leaders at school. You have started Maxplore. You are also the founder of Maxel. Then you have learned piano recently, how to play the piano. Then you have also learned painting, and then you had a exhibition. So many multiple things you are continuously doing in spite of having your hands in so many different tasks and wonderful projects. So how do you get this energy, time and enthusiasm?
Well, I think everyone wants to do multiple things in life. If you ask me, everyone wants to do. Only very few are able to do it. Why? Because what happens is most of the people, they have many plans in their mind, and that's how I think we should go to our GPS structure that we mentioned. Everyone has multiple plans in mind, but they remain in mind only. I don't keep things in mind. I convert them into action. That's the only difference. the day I decided that I want to learn, I was good in painting in school, and I said no, I must do something more.
Hmm.
I used to walk in the fort area because my office is in Fountain. I used to
Hmm.
every week I used to go to Jahangir Art Gallery and I used to see artists there. And I
Hmm.
felt one day I'm going to paint and put an exhibition in Jahangir.
Hmm.
And some 2-3 years back, when I said no, why am I only thinking? I
Hmm.
straight one of my colleagues. I spoke to one of my friend. We went to a art shop. We bought
Hmm.
canvases, bought painting, and I started painting. I got a teacher at
Hmm.
home, and I started painting.
Hmm.
I think many of us, or rather, every one of us wants
Hmm.
to. But in fact, today's time, everyone, all those who are listening to this program, also, I'm sure they must be having multiple ideas in mind.
Hmm.
The only difference is they keep the ideas in mind, discuss, keep chatting, and forget about it. I don't do that.
Correct.
As soon
Correct.
as this pandemic started, the first thing what I did was I got an online piano teacher because I had bought a piano. I said, look, piano is something which I wanted to learn always in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
As a kid, as I mentioned to you in 11th standard, I had paid money 20 rupees to learn harmonium. That
Hmm.
instinct I carried. This time I'm very happy to say that I have scientifically learning piano, and this coronavirus has helped me to learn it.
Correct. So you utilize this lockdown period to learn more things. And
Yes,
that is what, like I always mention, because that is what we see in every Swayambhu year. The learning mode is always on.
absolutely correct. Learning
ON
mode is odd.
capital, biggest font, right? Sir, so what has been your definition of success? And if you can please elaborate on what is GPS of success all about?
Okay, so to my mind, we started with saying that students should make an earning out
Hmm.
of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, unfortunately or fortunately, we equate success with making money.
Hmm.
So if you start any project, unless you make
Hmm.
really good money, you don't treat yourself as successful.
True.
If a good doctor, unless he makes really good money, he's not a successful doctor. An engineer, unless he makes tons of money, he's not a good engineer. And
Hmm.
that is the second unfortunate part of our society. I would say,
Correct.
I would
Correct.
define success as whatever goals you have in your mind, if you are able to implement those, whatever small
Right.
things,
Right.
whatever small things, if you are able to implement it the way you envisaged it, that is success.
Right. Right.
Sangeeta, for example, you had the idea of starting Swayambhu. You did
Hmm.
not keep quiet with that idea, no?
No.
Did you write the idea of Swayambhu and kept it with you, or kept discussing with your friends? No. You went ahead. You started the process. Fortunately, in the coronavirus, you got this Zoom application. Fortunately, you could start the process. Now today, I believe you have done 21st, 22nd, some 30 episodes, and this
Yes, sir.
process has gone so ahead. Now, will you say Sangeeta is successful because of Swayambhu now having done 25 episodes? No. To my mind, the fact that you had the guts, you had the courage to implement it, that's success.
Right. Right.
Small things. Very simple. If you feel like going out and having a lunch and a good place, don't you go and have lunch with lunch there? So if you are
Yes.
able to have proper lunch, don't you feel happy and don't you feel, oh, I'm today successful because I had lunch today? So to
Hmm.
my mind, rather than equating your efforts to money or to equate it to monetary value, all the activities that you have in your mind,
Hmm.
so long as you are able to implement the same, irrespective of how much money you make or otherwise, that
Hmm.
the process of implementing the ideas that you have in your mind in a beautiful way, and that which gives you satisfaction, that is success. It's a process.
Hmm.
Don't treat success as a destination. Treat success
Right.
as a journey, and you will be very happy about it.
Correct. So perfect said. So I would just put it this way: instead of a ABC, we will put it as a CBA. Conceive it, believe it, and achieve it.
Correct.
सिंपल. हर काम उल्टा करना है, लेकिन इंटेंशन सीधा होना चाहिए, राइट?
Correct.
इंटेंशन सही होना चाहिए. That is more important. And like he mentioned about Swayambhu, we are doing this social moment. There is no commercial involved. There is no money. but every time we help a child or we help a candidate to get internship, believe you me, I feel like I'm the wealthiest person in this entire world. So this is the definition of success for me, and I think
Absolutely
that is what it should be. That
correct.
is what it should be.
So now you ask me about GPS, and I'm
Yes,
eager
sir.
to mention what is GPS. You know, a lot of our participants must be eager to understand what is GPS.
Yes.
So before that, let me start with a very small story.
Hmm.
You know, there was a farmer in a village, and he always had this dilemma as to what should I
Hmm.
sow, what should I
Hmm.
sow in the farm.
Hmm.
So he decided to sow two things. One is
Hmm.
a seed of poison,
Hmm.
and another a seed of gold. You know, this marigold flowers.
Hmm.
After some time, and he gave water to both.
Hmm.
What would be the result? The result is the poisonous seed also grew, and it spoiled the whole soil. On the other hand, there was marigold flowers, and he also got marigold, but the soil had already got spoiled because of the poisonous tree.
Right.
So
Right.
in our mind, according to me, we must start sowing only seeds of good ideas about positive things in life.
Right.
The minute we go towards negativity, your ability to achieve something constructively will get automatically killed. If you read all the books of motivational books or anything about inspiration, all what are
Hmm.
they saying? The starting point is
Hmm.
you have to be positive minded. Now, why I'm
Hmm.
saying this, because if I was to explain the concept of GPS, what is GPS, and you ask me what is success story, and we have been talking for last 20 minutes about internship and lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Let me just now come really to summarize and bring the core of our discussion.
Hmm.
The core of our discussion is, to my mind, the formula which I have evolved of success is
Hmm.
GPS.
Hmm.
What is GPS? You know, in normal parlance, when you go to mobile phones, you go to GPS means you find the map. That
Yes.
is global
Yes.
positioning system. So
Yes.
to identify your global positioning system, follow GPS. What is G
Hmm.
according to me? So G is A. You must have a goal in mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
So first of all, take a piece of paper, simple paper always, and write down what is your goal.
Hmm.
Now your goal can be as simple as having lunch together with so and so,
Hmm.
to learn computer, to learn foreign language, to do this, to do
Hmm.
that. Doesn't matter. Whatever goals you think, please write down in piece of paper.
Hmm.
But not just G stands for writing goals. No,
Hmm.
my G is slightly different. My G is, when you write that goal, find out the ground reality about yourself.
Hmm.
So when you write goal, below that underline and write the ground reality, where you stand today. For example, if I say today that today, supposing if I write a goal, then I would like to become president of America. Is it possible? Then I must write what is ground reality. Ground reality is Nitin Poddar is an ordinary lawyer from Bombay. Then I have to judge myself whether the goal that I have said is correct or not. So while
Hmm.
writing goals, also find out and write what is the ground reality.
Right.
That's
Right.
number one.
Hmm.
Then the next P is pursue action. What you have written.
Hmm.
Writing goal is not just important. You need to pursue it. And again, pursue is not just pursuing. Pursue it proactively and positively.
Hmm.
You may start something, but if you start something doing with a doubts in your mind, you're not going to achieve there. You're not going to achieve what you want to do. So identify goal, but find out ground reality. Pursue your actions, but pursue your actions proactively and positively, not with negative
Right.
mind. If you start
Right.
with negative mind, oh, I don't think so, I'm going to pass, then why are you attempting the exam?
Correct.
Don't
Correct.
give up that exam, because there is no point in processing, going through that whole process of attending for that exam. Or if you want to start a business, if you say, oh, I want to start a business, but I don't know whether I will be successful or not, don't start. Stop there only.
Hmm.
That is where I said, Sangeeta, I do when I'm convinced what I'm doing. So
Right.
And when will you be convinced? When you write the goal and when you write your ground reality, you yourself will know you are the best judge of your capabilities. You don't need outsiders to tell you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can very well know that whether I can achieve this goal or not. So when you write goal, write down ground reality and write down action points. Pursue those action points. And pursue those action points with proactively and in positive mind.
Right.
So two steps are over. Now S. This S is very important. And we are on your program of Swayambhu. Everyone at every stage in life will not get Sangeeta Kamath. You will not get Swayambhus. S, according to me, is everyone must learn to self-motivate themselves. If you have a good goal, you are pursuing everything is fine. But if you are waiting for someone to tell you, you must do this, you will never do this, and you will never achieve anything in life. It must come from within. You must feel that yes, I must do this. That fire must come from you. That drive must come from you. That passion must come from you, within you.
Right.
There is no injection or tablet available that you take one tablet and you will be self-motivated. No, success doesn't come in tablets. If that was the case, our industries would have hoarded all the medicine with them.
Yeah, true.
So again, repeating, identify goal. Along with goal, find out your ground reality. But identify goals. First of all, write down your goals. A. Secondly, write down action points. How do you want to pursue it? And pursue it proactively and positively. And third is, you must learn to self-motivate yourself. Self-motivation. If I want to do something, no one can stop me. But if 1,000 people wants me to do something, and if I don't wish to do something, those 1,000 people cannot make me do that thing.
Correct.
So it must come within. I for self-motivation, my earnest request is, look, there are n number of books available, n number of small videos are available on YouTube. Today, YouTube is the big reservoir of knowledge. Go to YouTube, watch small videos, watch small books, whatever action. Supposing you want to go into technical education, whatever subject you want to, all the knowledge is available on YouTube. So today, Sangeeta, honestly, we are not in the 90s, 40s, and 50s. If any student, when he comes and tells me, oh, I want to do something, sir, where will I get knowledge? I don't know how to react to that boy or a girl. When everything is available, not on the computer, it is on in your fingertips. So, to my mind, that is the GPS of success. And again, I said, after doing this whole exercise, you must enjoy that journey. Forget what at the end, what am I going to get or otherwise. Do you enjoy that journey? That is important. That is success.
Correct. Sir, you have summed up GPS very, very clearly. We have got a clear idea and picture of how the real GPS works, and you have made a beautiful analogy. Like when you mentioned, this is going to be my destination and this is where I want to go. It clearly shows this is where you are, correct? So that is how you understand your ground reality. Then you have to pursue it persistently. So if you are driving a car, or say you're driving a bike, so you have to continuously travel. You can't stop at a place and think that I'm going to reach my destination. So you have to pursue it consistently. And then the S, you have to be self-motivated. If there is a puncture in your tire, there are going to be speed bumps, there are going to be challenges, there are going to be obstacles. Absolutely. So you have to be self-motivated, saying that, let me just change the tire, let me fuel it, refuel it if required, and then continue my journey again. So sir, fantastic GPS theory which you have shared. Amazing. Sir, the definition of success which you had mentioned in the beginning is generally synced with money. Everywhere, right? So to put it very bluntly, you had also mentioned earlier that the moment a child starts spending money, he should start earning money.
Correct.
So how important is money in life?
It's very important, extremely important. First of all, I'll tell you, I was just reading a book last week, And there was a survey, and there was some speaker on the talk on this, and what I read was in, and this is across the board. If you see globally, Sangeeta, we all start earning at the age of 20, 25, or maybe 30. Have you thought what happens at the age of 65? Or what happens at the age of 70? Across the globe, if you see today, you go and find out the people who are in 70s. Why are they financially crippled? Why do they have to, why their ability to really go take better medicine, stay in good house, why they feel financially completely crippled? It is only and only because, and amongst them only few would be really very rich and enjoying a good life. Why is that? So when we all across the globe, when we start earning money at the age of 25 or 30, but by the time when we reach 65, 70, why only 5% or 6% people really live a good life, and whereas majority of them are crippled, financially crippled? Because we don't give importance to the value of money. As soon as we start earning money, we start spending money also equally. Again, let me repeat, Sangeeta, earning money illegally is wrong. I am not suggesting go and do smuggling or go and do dacoity. I'm not suggesting that. But all the efforts that we are doing, whatever efforts we are doing, should they not be converging at some point of time towards money and our betterment?
Yes.
Money,
so since you mentioned this point, I'm getting a question which I'm very, very eager to ask. Most of them think that when you inherit money or you inherit wealth, that is an advantage. So since you are you are a lawyer, I want to ask very openly, is there any collateral damage to the individual when he inherits money instead of earning it right from the first rupee?
See, I'll tell you, there is no right or wrong answer to this, Sangeeta. There are people who have inherited money and they have made best of that inheritance also. But yes, to large extent, the minute if you think that I'm going to get a bounty or I'm going to get my large money, my parents or whatever, the urge or the fire to make still more money or work on your own may die or may get disturbed to some extent. But to my mind, for our today's discussion or otherwise for students community, I would say don't think too much on this. Your simple aim should be, am I making my living today? Number one. Secondly, have I done enough plans, or am I working towards enough plans so that even if at the age of 65 or 70, I should be financially, self-sufficient, and I should not be dependent on anyone. Now, it is possible that people may misunderstand me to say that, therefore, are you supposed to only make money all entire your life? No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that. All that I'm saying is that to live a good and comfortable life, and because success is measured in terms of money, there is no harm in planning for money. There is no harm in planning to earn money and planning to save money. That's my point.
Right.
You should not see. I am not suggesting you should be completely money-minded. I am not suggesting that. All that I am saying that you need to plan your career correctly. And unfortunately, our education system doesn't teach this. And that's the reason, Sangeeta, if you see globally, you will see, and the people around 70, 75, they get financially crippled because when they start earning money, they feel, oh, fantastic, I have got a degree, I'm making money, that is good enough. No, that's not good enough. You need to plan, you need to still save, you need to plan for your future. You need to do a lot of planning in that. That is required. And I think India is in India, we don't have social security. We have to depend upon joint family. We have to depend upon the parents or children. Now, this dependency, if you don't want this dependency, according to me, everyone in India must plan a proper, do a proper financial planning. Make sure you continue earn money, and you must also plan for more than one or two sources of earning money, because you are if your one source gets stuck, what will you do? Today in the coronavirus situation, many people in the age of 45, 50 have lost jobs, and they don't have any other skills to do. What will they do? Tell me. So to my mind, to younger generation or all those who are listening today, according to me, see, even if you are 45, even if you are 50, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Restart again. Take some more skill sets. Stand up again in life. Fight out. It is your battle. You will be able to fight out.
Right.
No,
Right.
you should never give up in life. There is no dead end. You can always always reboot. Always always take a fresh start. Like
Well said.
Sachin Tendulkar, after completing century, used to always take a fresh start.
That is how it is, and wonderfully put. You mentioned about Sachin Tendulkar. I think that's bullseye. People will get it in a jiffy. Sir, I'm very keen to understand about your Maxplore program because it is creating business leaders in schools. So how important it is to become a job creator, and before you become a job creator, what should be your growth cycle from working under somebody and then having people working with you and for you.
See, Maxplore is a program where we teach creativity. We teach what is business, how to do business, and it is for school kids. And to my mind, it's one of the very unique program which we have designed so that school kids also learn to earn money or learn to do something on their own. I'm not saying to earn money, but something on their own. So creativity, constructive thinking, that is what is required today. You can't just become an engineer and do nothing. You can't be an architect and do nothing. You have to be, along with that, according to me, even to become a good lawyer, good engineer, good doctor, you have to have entrepreneurship with you. And one very classic example we used to always give to the students. If you are a doctor, supposing you are a doctor, very fantastic doctor, but unless you choose right location for starting your practice, how will you make money? So now, how do you decide which location you to take? That is entrepreneurial instinct. So, for example, a teacher, a fantastic teacher, she may be a very good teacher, but now why Sangeeta, only some teachers are able to really innovate, take up extra subjects, take up something more? How are they making more money? Because they have that entrepreneurial instinct. And to my mind, every teacher is capable of, if she's a teacher, which means she is capable of teaching anything and everything under the sun and moon. And to my mind, the teachers community which you represent, Sangeeta, I have a highest regard and respect for teacher community because you are creating the future. Parents are not creating the future. The teachers are creating the future. The child spends maximum time with the teachers. In our Hindu culture, we have this Guru Govind, the Dohi Khade, Kake Lagu Pai, that proverb which says that if the Guru and your Govind, means Sri Krishna, both are standing, Sri Krishna is saying, touch the feet of the teacher and not me. So teacher is important. So to my mind, teacher community, and I'll tell you, I have highest, why again I have highest regarding, because in Maharashtra, there are single teacher schools. Single teacher schools. I wish I give Maharashtra Bhushan to all the single teacher schools. And because we are talking of teachers, my humble submission and humble request to all of us will be, and I always mention this is part of my session whenever I talk on education or otherwise. We are fortunate, Sangeeta, that we could get a good education. We are sitting in air-conditioned rooms and we are talking on Zoom and we are talking of lot of high-end subjects. Right. In India, as we speak, there are millions of students, millions of children who don't know the word school, who have not even seen the door of a school. Now we need to be conscious of this fact. And I believe, the exercise which was started of Swayambhu, I wish some people come forward and do one student who has not seen school. All of us, even if we help one child who has not seen school for some reason. Now all the students who are listening to this program and who are going to get inspired or who are going to get to do something in life, the next generation, I just want to tell them, just remember one thing, that you are fortunate that you have got a fantastic education from your parents and from the society. But equally, in the very same society, there are millions of students who are not educated, who are not seen schools. So you owe some responsibility towards them.
True, true, true. Very profound and very realistic. Very realistic. I would like to say a thank you to all the people who have joined us. Thank you, Bhavna Dev. Thank you so much. You are always with us. Oh, Kalpana Jadhav, thank you. Thank you, Namita Karandikar. Thank you, Mr. Bipin Pandit, for joining us. Hello, Pradeep Patil. Thank you, Devendra Sheche. Atmaram Parabji has also joined today. And Mr. Nitin Munot had connected with him. And I think Mr. Nitin Poddar also invited him. Hello, Jyotsna. Hello, Shilpa Jedhe. Uh, so Atmaram Parab says Nitin Poddar is a friend, philosopher, and guide for many entrepreneurs like me. Thanks a lot, sir, for guiding us. Nice to hear you on Swayambhu. Sir, since we are talking about Swayambhu, I don't see any questions as of now. I think most of the okay, there is a question. What is divorce called in corporate terms? Is it called demerger? This is a question by Mr. Devendra Shetty. What is divorce called in corporate terms? Is it called demerger?
No, it is not called divorce. It is called divorce only.
Really?
Yes, it's called corporate divorce.
Okay. Okay. So there is your answer, Mr. Devendra. And I think it has been a very interesting session. Anything more you would like to add on aspiring Swayambhus, give them a message? And of course, I would also like to request you, since you have been the supporter from point one, sir, is there any opportunity you can forward to aspiring Swayambhus?
Sure. So, law students can apply to my firm for internship. That is possible. And I can also guide one or two of your startups of any age. I can take up your students for internship. I can take up startups for internship. And if anyone in mid age, if someone has some ideas to do, we can guide them to start their career again. So there are a lot of things we can do, and I will be very happy. I have started this India Power Talk now. I will talk only. I like to mention about two things. One is India Power Talk is something which I have started recently because I am seeing a lot of foreign investment coming again in India, and I felt that the objective of India Power Talk, the way you are doing Swayambhu, I am doing India Power Talk where I am calling international leaders to speak on India.
Right.
And I'm getting international leaders across the globe from Europe, US, Japan, Australia, and I'm getting unconventional speakers. These are not political leaders, or these are not industrialists. These are actually professors, consultants, engineers, scientists. So I'm trying to get the real knowledge across the globe. What is their thought process about India growth story? And I must tell you that there is a website. All the videos are available. What we do is we create a major video, and then we also create glimpses, and we are trying to create vlogs. So that knowledge, I would like to keep it for India, and not only for Indians, but also a lot of foreigners who want to invest in India. They must know. See, me talking about India doesn't, at some stage it plateaus. But if a German investor if he gets to hear from his own German colleague, that will make more sense. So I thought that I must collect the international leaders and make them talk about what they feel about India. And not only that, domain knowledge. Now, the second lecture we did also on one, which was Sunil Shastri from London. He spent 40 years in London, and he spoke on the blue economy. Blue economy is this tea economy. What is being talked about? So we spoke on that. So I would, if there are MBA students, or if anyone wants to do internship with my India Power Talk, I will be very happy to take them. I am absolutely fine. If any person who has lost job recently, any analyst or any journalist or anyone who has lost job currently, and who he or she who thinks can support me in India Power Talk, I will be very happy to take them on my India Power Talk as an intern. I'm absolutely good with that. Maxplore, Maxplore, we are already working on Maxplore. So we can connect with teachers on the Maxplore.
Perfect. So I think a lot of opportunities. Shout out to all the law students. If you're looking for internships, all the startups who have got fantastic idea, and if you want to brainstorm it with who better than Mr. Nitin Poddar. He is into mergers and acquisitions and startups and so many things. So he will give you a clear picture of reality of your project. Then in case you want to restart your career, he is game too. And all the MBA students, journalists and analysts, if you are looking for something new to start, and of course teachers, if you want to train students into how to become an entrepreneur, you can connect with Nitinji again. How to do that? All you have to do is, what you want to do, you have to type in and mail us to swayambhu@gmail.com. Please keep a clarity of what you want to do and how to reach and where to reach. If you have the clarity, we are with you. So the topic for today was GPS to success. We will be your GPS and help you to be successful for sure. So a few more people have joined. Thank you, Nitin Munodji, for your wishes. Thank you so much. Mr. Anil Garg has also joined. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And we have a few more people who have joined in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sir, we would like to have one more session from you on if there is an individual coming across to you for a startup, to whether to take it forward or
Sure.
with an internship idea. So what is the process they should follow? Either we can have your recorded session, okay, or
We'll do
a
one more.
monologue.
We'll do one more session for entrepreneurs or startups if you want.
Yes, yes, yes. I think it is essential because I think this is the time when we have to all collaborate.
Yes.
We are a part of ecosystem, no doubt. We have been that forever. But now we have really understood life, and it has been an eye opener that this is the time to collaborate. So if there are a group of students, especially in the age group of 20 to 30, students, or you are working now or were working now and you want to do something together, we can have your ideas shared with him and other mentors of Swayambhu. Let us connect with on this very soon. Please immediately mail us to swayambhu@gmail.com. Thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you Nitin ji for your expertise and wisdom sharing. Thank you so much. You are a great friend and so blessed to have you with us, sir.
Thank you, Sangeeta. And I must tell you once again, you are doing a fantastic job. Swayambhu is you are doing a pioneering work, I would say. If every individual who have been even little bit of success, if every individual in India takes up one intern also, one student as intern also, to my mind, the problem of unemployment, which is really very serious, I must tell you, is extremely serious. We are fortunate that we are sitting in air conditioned rooms and talking, but outside there are a huge number of people. We need to reach out. They are all fellow Indians, and we need to do our part of job. The government will take its own course, but we as citizens, we have to reach out to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. So continue to shine and bloom. Wishing you all a splendid Sunday. Jai Hind.
Thank you.